Good morning. Welcome to Wednesday. As I was driving to work this morning, I had NPR on in the car and listened to a debate about articles of impeachment that'll be voted on today. And it ended with Representative McGovern in Massachusetts describing his first encounter with the Capitol when he worked as an intern. And so it naturally made me think, bring back memories of my first experience at the Capitol. And I remember in high school going on a bus tour from North Dakota with other high school students in the United Methodist Church. I remember standing in the Capitol Rotunda marveling, as everyone does, and still have a picture somewhere of our group on the steps of the front Capitol with Senator Burdick of North Dakota, which very few people will remember. And then I remember going back, when I was in seminary, I did a semester in Washington, D.C. at Wesley Theological Seminary, which is adjacent to American University. And I was there to study the intersections of theology and public policy. And part of that program, led by Phil Wagaman, Reverend, involved meeting with senators and representatives on both sides of the aisle, meeting with ambassadors, going to embassies, the Supreme Court. It was really, if anybody knows my preaching, it was absolutely a foundational, formational experience in my seminary education and being a pastor. But then when seminary ended, when I graduated, I moved to Washington, D.C. to work for the Office for Church and Society of the United Church of Christ. And our offices were literally across the street from the Capitol and the Supreme Court. We were on the northeast corner. And I remember sort of at quaint times, right, when you can just walk around. I remember that we could go into the Supreme Court cafeteria, breakfast or lunch or whatever, and be there in the morning, and over in the corner there would be Justice Blackmun with his clerks, sharing a meal as well as doing their work. Walking around the Supreme Court, there's William Rehnquist. How you doing today? In the building where our offices were, it was also an apartment building for some senators, and so among them was Howell Heflin, which was a good old boy from Alabama. And he was the jolliest person. He would say, "What are y'all working on up there in the UCC today?" And he said, "We probably won't agree on anything, but I admire your work." Al Gore's parents lived in the same building, and occasionally I was in the elevator with Al Gore. Quite the contrast to Howell Heflin. Howell was a big old, good old boy from the South. Al looked scared every time somebody got in the elevator, and I can understand that, but I never once had the opportunity to engage in conversation despite the number of times we shared an elevator together. It was easy to just walk across the street and enter into the Capitol. At any moment I needed an inspiration and wanted a 15-minute break, just walk over and, again, sort of stare up into the rotunda. It's also a great time. I went to the Smithsonian, all the time. I went and sat in front of the Matisse cutouts at the Museum of Art on a weekly basis, like going to a sanctuary. So you can hear I'm sort of reminiscing about my experiences in Washington, D.C., which truly did shape my faith and understanding the intersections, again, of theology and public policy. So I'm also very saddened by the events and reminded that all of us right now are going through the trauma of this experience, like death of any kind. It invites times to share memories and laugh and shed tears. Certainly there was something that died at the Capitol on Wednesday. So perhaps you have some memories like that too. I don't know if you've been to D.C. or experienced any of that. But I did want to end today with a prayer by the Senate Chaplain. And, I want to end with this prayer. Lord of our lives and sovereign of our beloved nation, we deplore the desecration of the United States Capitol building, the shedding of innocent blood, the loss of life, and the quagmire of dysfunction that threaten our democracy. These tragedies reminded us that words matter and that the power of life and death is in the tongue. We have been warned that eternal vigilance continues to be freedom's price. Lord, you have helped us remember that we need to see in each other a common humanity that reflects your image. You have strengthened our resolve to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, domestic as well as foreign. Use us to bring healing and unity to our hurting and divided world and nation. Thank you for what you have blessed our lawmakers to accomplish in spite of threats to liberty. Bless and keep us. Drive far from us all wrong desires. Include our hearts to do your will and guide our feet on the path of peace. There's 2 lines in there I want to repeat. The power of life and death is in the tongue. And in our fingers on keyboards. And use us to bring healing and unity to a hurting and divided nation and world. Those are my prayers for today. I hope you join me in praying. And have a grateful day.